Welcome students. Today we shall start the 16th video of that Newton's laws of motion, and it will be the last class of that strings and police problem, last theory class. So students, in earlier class we had solved this problem where were we getting a perpendicular surface and on the horizontal surface a block of mass m1 was resting and a string was there whose one end was attached with block of mass m1 and the other end of the string was attaching a moving pulley, and on this moving pulley we had the situation like this. On this moving pulley there was one other string whose ends were connected with the block of mass m2 and block of mass m. So we had solved this problem. And suppose students, we want to know the relation between the blocks of this problem by traditional. So to get the relation between the acceleration of the blocks by traditional method, our first step should be to select a coordinate system, from the fixed point. So suppose students, I am saying it is the coordinate system we are considering in this way. This is positive x-axis, this one is the positive y-axis from a fixed point. Okay. So from a fixed point first we will select a coordinate system. So students, after selecting the coordinate system, our next step should be to write down the length of the string from that fixed point or coordinate system. So what are the lengths of the string? From that fixed point we will assume that, suppose I am saying students, it is the x1 length of the string which is present over here, and the length of the string over this pulley I am saying something equals to LC1, and students, here whatever length of the string is present, that I am denoting by xp. The length of the string from here to here, notice I am saying that is equals to xp. And students, suppose this block of mass m2 is present at the x2 length from the fixed point, and this block of mass m3 is present at the x3 length from the fixed. So we want to know the relation between the acceleration of the blocks by traditional method. So our first step should be to select the coordinate system. That coordinate system we will select always from the fixed point, and from that fixed point or coordinate system we shall write down the lengths of the strings. And we have seen that we have assumed these much of the lengths are x1, lc1, xp, x2, x3 lengths of the strings. Okay, so it should be our first steps, right? So students, we have written the lengths of the strings from that fixed point. So suppose students, I am saying L1 is the total length of string 1. Of course, when will you look here, it will be our first string that we can name as our 1, and here we will get the second string. So two strings are present here, 1 and 2. Okay, I am naming that here 2. So L1, if we are saying, students, that L1 is the total length of the string 1, so that L1 will be equals to what, students? L1 will be equals to this x1 plus LC1 plus XP. Isn't it, students? And right now I am not differentiating it and saying, let this L2 is the total length of string second. Okay. So L2 is the length of the second string. So look, student, how can we write this L2? Please notice here. Look, student, we want to write this length and this length. And of course, when will you look here, if we have assumed the x2 length here and xp length here, students, so what can I write here? The length of the string here, look, length of the string here should be equals to what, students? X2 minus XP only, isn't it? This length of the string, that must be equals to what, students? X2, this X2 minus of XP. So when from that X2, when you will subtract the XP, what will you get? This length. And the length of the string which is present over here on this moving pulley, that we are saying something equals to square, this LC2 we can assume. And of course, students, when are we writing the length of this string? This is x2 minus xp. Okay, x2 minus xp. Here x2 and minus of xp will give us this length. And what will be the length here? This x3 minus of xp, is it? If I will subtract xp, this xp length from this x3, what will I get? This length, isn't this length? X3 minus of xp will give us this length, isn't? I think it will be able to everyone. What have we done? Nothing. If you want to know this length, so what can I write? This length is x2 minus of this xp, and if you want to know the length here present here, so that I can write as our x3 minus of xp. Isn't? So students, when were we writing the equation of the length for the string second, so that should be equals to what, student? That should be x2 minus of xp plus LC2 plus x3 minus of x. Isn't it, students? And to which we can write in this way as well, that L2, that should be equals to what? X2. This minus xp and minus xp will become minus 2 times of xp plus LC2 plus x3. Isn't it, students? What had we done for the length of string second? We had said this length will be nothing but the x2 minus xp, and this length should be equals to what? x3 minus xp. x3 minus xp will give us this length. And the length of the string present over this moving pulley, we are saying something equals to LC2. So we can write the equation from here that length L2 must be equals to what? x2 minus xp plus LC2 plus x3 minus xp. So to which we can write in this way as well, x2 and this minus xp and this minus xp will become twice of xp plus this LC2 plus x3. So write up to your students. Now what will we do, students? After writing the length equation, we shall differentiate that. So differentiating L2 with respect to the time, what will we get, students? Is dL2 upon del t, that should be equals to what? This dx2 upon del t minus of 2 will come outside of the derivative. This dxp upon del t, I have told you about this differentiation in the very earlier of the classes. So plus this dlc3 upon del t plus this dx3 upon del t. So what have we done, students? We have done nothing. We have differentiated L2 with respect to the time. So when will we differentiate that? We will get this. And of course, students, if we have assumed our string inextensible, so for the inextensible string, the length of the string is not going to change. The total length of the string will be a constant. So if we are differentiating that length and saying there is some velocity in that string, so there will be no velocity. Velocity in the string will be equals to 0. Whatever velocity you will get in that string, that must be equals to 0. No any kind of the velocity you can get in a string which is inextensible. And here you are getting dx2 upon del t. Okay, and of course here, students, this L here LC3, no, it's LC2, students. I'm sorry, here it will be LC2. Okay, LC2, so here LC3. The length of the string over this pulley is also not going to change. Whatever movement will take place, again and again, we will get the length over this pulley will be always constant. So when will we differentiate a constant? So that will give us 0 as our result. So these will become equals to 0, students. So from here you can write this 0 is equals to dx2 upon del t will represent v2 minus of this, twice of this was what is, students? Twice of velocity vp plus this v3. So from here what can we do? We can bring this twice of vp to the right side, and that we can write as equals to v2 plus v3. Or in other words, we can say this velocity vp, that should be equals to v2 plus v3 divided by 2. Isn't it? So by differentiating we are getting this result. Right? So students, notice here that dp is the velocity present here. dp is the velocity present here, and v2 and v3 is representing the velocities present here. Is it? So students, if I am drawing the free body diagram of this moving pulley, okay, and cutting these strings from here and here, so of course the free body diagram of that will be something like it. And if I am saying this PP is moving in this direction, BP is the velocity present here, and will not draw the free body diagram. We have taken in account now this system. So this V2, we are not drawing the free body diagram. Okay, here is the V2 velocity we will get. Here we will get the V3 velocity. From here we will conclude that if BP is something like this, it is that it is have something velocity in upward direction. So our V2 and V3 if should be the velocities present here, and that should be also in upside. From here, if we are differentiating this L2 length, what are we getting is straight. This VP is what? VP is what? V2 plus V3 divided by 2. Meaning is that whatever velocity will be present here, that will be equals to the velocity present here plus velocity present here divided by 2. And the direction of those velocities must be in the same direction. Whatever that direction you have considered here, the V2 and V3 must be in that same direction. Or if you have considered the velocities in that downward side, so this V2 and V3 will be in that downward side. Or here if you have assumed one side up, one side down, so here of course this V2 if you have considered in upside, and here V3 if you have considered in downside, so this will become minus V3. And of course for an inertial frame of reference we will say. We will not talk about the non-inertial frame of reference. Now for inertial frame of reference we can apply these laws. Newton's laws will be applicable only in that inertial frame of reference. I have talked about this in the very first video, your 11th class. According to my mind, that should be started from that pseudo force. So from there you will get the whole things. So Newton's law will be applicable only for the inertial frame. If the frame will be not inertial, it is accelerating by some kind of the acceleration. So we will make that in the non-inertial frame of reference, inertial frame of reference by adding a pseudo force. Okay, I will talk about more about this. So first here for the inertial frame of reference, the velocities, the expression of the velocities should be like this. Okay. So student, I hope that if anyone is saying to you that if a pulley is moving and that have some kind of the velocity here, so that will be equals to sum of these velocities divided by 2. So you can understand that if someone is saying this relation, so from here where this relation has come. So that I have discussed here. From where are we getting this relation? By considering this example, we are looking that whatever should be the velocity present here, that should be equals to the velocity present here plus velocity present here divided by 2, and that should be in that same direction. And we will talk about only inertial frame of reference. We are not talking about any kind of the non-inertial frame of reference right now. Okay. And students, suppose I am saying that by equation 1, now we have differentiated the second length, and we can also say that by equation 1 and equation 2. Here we can assume this one as our equation 1 and equation 2. Or first you can write is by equation 1. By equation 1, what will you look, student? This L1 is equals to what, students? X1 plus this LC1 plus XP. Is that it, students? So this from here we can write this XP, that should be equals to what? That should be equals to L1 minus of this X1. XP should be L1 minus of X1 minus of LC1, isn't? From here we will get that XP should be this. So putting the value of XP in equation 2, what will we get, students? We will look that our L2 should be equals to what, students? Is X2 minus 2 times of XP. So at the place of XP, what can we write, students? L1 minus X1 minus LC1, is it? And plus of this LC2 plus this X3 here. So we can rewrite this in this way. L2 should be equals to what? X2 minus this twice of L1 plus minus will become plus twice of X1. Again minus 2 when minus when will be multiplied, that will become plus this twice of LC1. Okay, plus this LC2 plus this LC2 plus this X3. So we have written this. Now after writing this, what will we do, students? We will differentiate it with respect to the time. So here what will we get? dL2 upon del T, that should be equals to dx2 upon del T minus of this twice of L1, twice of dL1 upon del T plus this twice of dx1 upon del T plus again this twice of dLC1 upon del T plus this dLC2 upon del T plus this dx3 upon del T. Is it? So we have differentiated it with respect to the time, this equation. And from where are we getting this equation? By writing the XP, value of XP from equation number 1 in that equation number 2. We will get this, and that we will differentiate. Right here. So students, we are getting these things. By differentiating this L2, we are getting this. And you know students, we have assumed the frictionless, massless and inextensible string. So if the string is inextensible, so the length of that string is not going to change. The length of that string will be constant. So when will we differentiate a constant thing, that will give us 0 as our result, isn't? Or in the other word, we can say there should not be any kind of the velocity present in the string, because it will represent the velocity. dl2 upon del t is the velocity present in that string 2, and since that string is inextensible, it can't be stressed, so there will be no velocity in that string, otherwise it will break down. So here we are also getting the dl1 upon del t. The length of the string over this pulley is also will be constant, so that will become also equals to 0. And dlc1, this will also come out this 0, or this minus twice and minus 2 times of lc1. Here del will be not there, students. I'm sorry. Here only is the, oh no, it's correct. dl1 was there. I'm sorry. dl1, the length of that first, once again I'm recapitulating. That length, the string we have considered as our inextensible string, so that length will be constant. So when we will differentiate the constant, that will give us 0 result. Meaning is that velocity in that string will be 0. And here also the first string, that length of the first string is not going to change, that will be a constant. So when we differentiate that will be also comes to 0. And of course, this when are we differentiating with respect to the time? So length of the string over this fixed pulley we have represented by the LC1, that is also constant. Again and again we will get the same length here. So that is also constant. So differentiation of constant will be equals to 0. And the same way, the length of the string over this moving pulley will be also constant, and that will be differentiation of that will be also equals to 0. So students, I am rubbing that side. So from here, what can we write, student? Is our 0 should be equals to this v2 plus of this twice of v1 plus this v. Isn't it, students? And student, one thing you will notice, since x1 should be on negative axis. x1 should be on negative axis, but we have assumed it on positive axis, isn't? If we have selected our coordinate like this was the positive x direction, so this side should be negative, students, isn't? This side should be negative, but since we have written that negative side as our positive, so we can say that our v1 will be equals to what? Minus of this v1, isn't it? So v1 should be what? Minus of v1. So meaning is that is when this v2, this 0, that should be equals to V2 minus of this twice V1. Is it? If V1 is the minus V1, so it will become minus twice of V1 plus V3 plus V3. Or we can say this twice of V1 will be equals to what, students? Twice of V1 should be equals to what? V2 plus V3. Don't get confused with V1 and this XP. XP is different and V1 is different. And of course, they should be the velocities V1 and Vp, that should be same, isn't it? We are getting the same expression. V1 should be equals to what? V2 plus V3 divided by 2, and Vp should be also that V2 plus V3 divided by 2. So from here we are now getting this kind of the result. That we will note that you will keep in your mind. It will help you in that problem. So of course whatever velocity will be present here, that will be here, because that length string is inextensible. So that velocity sum of all those velocities should be 0. There should not be any kind of the velocities. So that will give you this. So what can we say again? Again, differentiating there should not be any kind of the velocity. That is why they will be in this way, so that they can get cancelled out, and net velocities in that string can come out equals to 0. Okay. So again differentiating with respect to time, what will we get is, friends, is twice of del V1 upon del T, that should be equals to del V2 upon del T plus this del V3 upon del T. Meaning is that, students, that our twice of A1, that should be equals to A2 plus A3. Is it? So from the traditional method, we have come to know what is the relation between the SLH. Right up to now. So students, we are getting these things by differentiating this L2, we are getting this. And you know, students, we have assumed the frictionless, massless and inextensible string. So if the string is inextensible, so the length of that string is not going to change. The length of that string will be constant. So when will we differentiate a constant thing, that will give us 0 as our result, isn't? Or in the other word, we can say there should not be any kind of the velocity present in the string, because it will represent the velocity. dl2 upon del t is the velocity present in that string 2, and since that string is inextensible, it can't be stressed, so there will be no velocity in that string, otherwise it will break down. So here we are also getting the dl1 upon del t. The length of the string over this pulley is also will be constant, so that will become also equals to 0. And dlc1, this will also come out this 0, or this minus twice and minus 2 times of lc1. Here del will be not there, students. I'm sorry. Here only is the no, it's correct. dl1 was there. I'm sorry. dl1, the length of that first. Once again, I'm recapitulating. that length, the string we have considered as our inextensible string, so that length will be constant. So when we will differentiate the constant, that will give us zero result. Meaning is that velocity in that string will be zero. And here also the first string, that length of the first string is not going to change, that will be a constant. So when will we differentiate that will be also comes to 0. And of course this, when are we differentiating with respect to the time, so length of the string over this fixed pulley we have represented by the LC1, that is also constant. Again and again we will get the same length here. So that is also constant, so differentiation of constant will be equals to 0. And the same way the length of the string over this moving pulley will be also constant, and that will be, differentiation of that will be also equals to 0. So students, I am rubbing that side. So from here, what can we write, student? Is our 0 should be equals to this V2 plus of this twice of V1 plus this V3. Isn't it, students? And student, one thing you will notice, since x1 should be on negative axis, but we have assumed it on positive axis, isn't? If we have selected our coordinate like this was the positive x direction, so this side should be negative, students, isn't? This side should be negative, but since we have written that negative side as our positive, so we can say that our V1 will be equals to what? Minus of this V1. Isn't? So V1 should be what? Minus of V1. So meaning is that is when this V2, I'm sorry, this 0, that should be equals to V2 minus of this twice V1. Isn't? If V1 is the minus V1, so it will become minus twice of V1 plus V3. Or we can say this twice of V1 will be equals to what, students? Twice of V1 should be equals to what? V2 plus V3. Don't get confused with V1 and this XP. XP is different and V1 is different. And of course, they should be the velocities V1 and Vp, that should be same, isn't? We are getting the same expression. V1 should be equals to what? V2 plus V3 divided by 2, and Vp should be also that V2 plus V3 divided by 2. So from here we are now getting this kind of the result. That we will note that you will keep in your mind. It will help you in that problem. So of course, whatever velocity will be present here, that will be here, because that length string is inextensible. So that velocity is sum of all those velocities should be 0. There should not be any kind of the velocities. So that will give you this. So what can we say again? Differentiating there should not be any kind of the velocity. That is why they will be in this way, so that they can get cancelled out, and net velocities in that string can come out equals to 0. Okay. So again differentiating with respect to time, what will we get, students? Is twice of del V1 twice of del V1 upon del T, that should be equals to del V2 upon del T plus this del V3 upon del T. Meaning is that, students, that our twice of A1, that should be equals to A2 plus A3. Is it? So from the traditional method, we have come to know what is the relation between the acceleration. Right up to you. So look, student, don't get confused with relation you are finding here and the relation which were you getting by applying the short trick. When were you applying the short trick? In that case, you had selected the direction of that acceleration. So according to that, your assumption that whatever assumption you had made for the acceleration while were you that applying the short trick, in that you had assumed that this would be in this direction, this would be in that direction. So that we are not performing. So when so the expressions can be different. Here don't compare this expression with that short trick expression. Here the meaning is that A1, A2 and A3, they should be in that same direction. If A1 is going to accelerate in that clockwise direction, so this M2 and M3 is also going to accelerate in that clockwise direction. If this A1 is in this direction, so A2 and A3, they will be also in that same direction. The meaning is that from here we can conclude that this that if A1 is in this direction, so both this A2 and A3 also going to accelerate in that same direction. Or if it is accelerating in that anti-clockwise direction, so they will also accelerate in anti-clockwise direction. But in that short trick method, from our side, from our side we had assumed that acceleration. So since we had assumed the acceleration from our side, that expression will show you that whatever is your assumption, what is the relation between them. But here means automatically they are going to give you the result, that what should be that relation and what should be the directions. So don't get confused the expression you are getting here and in that short trick method. Otherwise, you will say we are not getting the same expression here, and in that short trick method the expression was different. No, please. In that case, we had assumed the acceleration according to our ways. But here we had not assumed that acceleration in any direction. After performing this task, we will say that situations should be something like this. Of course, in earlier case we had assumed this A2 upside, isn't it? So that when it will become upside, so it will become negative, and a2 you will get what? Twice of a1 plus a3. I had not remembered that what was you getting there, but don't get confused with this expression or its alternative. No? The situations are different. And of course, student, so many will say to you that means that BP should miss if this is they will draw the diagram and will say this if something is like this, so this is equals to this. So if anyone is saying to you on this in this way, so you can come to know from where have we got this. How have we got this? We have performed. Okay, and it is a good example, and it is going to give you that good ideas to understand the problem. I think this is over right now. From traditional method also we have solved this. From traditional method we have come to know what will be the relation between the acceleration, and don't get confused the expression you are getting here and in that shortcut. So students, now suppose we have got a problem like it, where are we looking a kind of the table is present, and on this table there is a mass of that capital M, and there is one spring which is connecting this block of mass capital M and going over this pulley, and the other end is connected with mass M1, and here are we getting a second string which is again going over a fixed pulley, and the other end is connecting a block of mass M. And question is saying to you that find the acceleration of the blocks, and tensions in springs. So student, you are looking here, we are getting two pulleys, okay? Is there any moving pulley present here? No. The pulleys are fixed, and of course we will assume they are frictionless, massless, strings are inextensible, surface is frictionless, so that assumption we will make there. And you are looking that pulleys are fixed, they are not moving. So of course student, if I am saying to you this M2 block is going to travel the x1 distance, and this M1 block is traveling a capital X distance, and M1 is going to travel x2 distance, isn't? Suppose I am saying this M2 is greater than M and M1. So you can write that as well, otherwise you can get confused. This M2 is more than this capital M is more than M1. So of course, if this is going to travel x1 distance, this is going to travel this capital X distance, this is going to travel this x2 distance. So of course student, they should be equal. This x1 should be equal to what student? This should be equals to x2 and that should be equals to what? Capital X. So when will we differentiate it? From with respect to the time, we will get what student? This V1 should be what? V2. V1 should be equals to V2 and that should be equals to something, and that will be equals to capital V. And again when we differentiate it with respect to the time, we will get that A1 is equals to A2 is equals to what? Capital A equals. Meaning is that we will get the same acceleration. Whatever will be the acceleration of this block, the same acceleration of this block and same acceleration will get this. Here, acceleration is not going to change. Acceleration of that each and every block will be same. Isn't it? Whatever will be the acceleration of this block, the same acceleration will be of this block and same acceleration we will get of this block. And that we are saying something equals to student A. Isn't it? So we are getting the same acceleration. There is no any kind of the different acceleration of the blocks. Every block is moving with the same acceleration. And that we are saying something, it is moving with A acceleration in this direction, so it is going to move with A acceleration in this direction, and this is going to move with the same acceleration in this direction, in anti-clockwise direction, because you are getting the signs same. Is it? Or if you will assume clockwise direction, you will say that M1 is more than M and M2. So you will, whatever that clockwise, if it is going to move in that clockwise direction, so it is also going to move in that clockwise direction, it is also going to move in that clockwise direction. But since we have assumed this M2 is more than the capital M and this M1, so they are going to move in anti-clockwise direction and they will accelerate with the same acceleration. Isn't it? Right here. Of course, now we will talk about the tensions. So, this one is the first string present over here. We can name that as our 1. Here we are getting the second string. We can name that as our 2. So students, if M1 is here and of course this force due to the gravity is going to act in the downward side, M1G, isn't it? And tension will be upside. So that tension we are saying something equals to capital T, and for this object of interest of this pulley, the pulling effect will be in this direction. I have talked about it 4-5 times. And since the pulley is frictionless and massless, so whatever tension you will get at this end, the same tension will be here. Tension at each ends will be same if the pulley is frictionless and massless. No torque is going to act on that. And of course, students, when will we talk about this block of mass M2? So this force due to the gravity M2G is going to act in that downward side. And suppose we are saying here you can assume, student, the tension is T1. Okay, it is the first string, so we can say tension is T1. It is the second string, so of course tension in that string will be different, and that we are saying something equals to capital T2. Okay, for this object of interest, the pulling effect will be in this direction and it will be along this string, and for the object of interest, this pulley, the tension will be along this string and it will be in this direction. And of course, since we are talking about the frictionless and massless pulley, so this T2 tension will be also present here at this end. Okay. And of course, students, if you are drawing the free body diagram of this capital M, so this force due to the gravity, capital Mg is going to act in this downward side, and since the contact is present with the surface, so a kind of that normal will act, that we are saying something equals to capital M, isn't? So these will be the free body diagrams and tensions in that strings. No any force and no any acceleration is present in that x direction. Is there only the acceleration for this block, acceleration in this direction, and tension T2 and T1 are present over here. No acceleration is present in y direction. Here the acceleration are present in that y direction. No acceleration present in that x direction. So these things I think you guys will become habitual about this, and you should think in this way. So write up to you. So notice this, friends, we are getting the same acceleration of each blocks, isn't it? And if we are getting the acceleration in that system is same, so we can write the expression of acceleration directly, isn't it? Video number 10 I have talked about each and every system where we were getting that accelerations same, that we have taken account in our lectures. So we can write the expression of acceleration directly, and that, how can we write that? That should be equals to what? F net upon total mass, is it? F net upon total mass. And here, what will you say? That force added to the acceleration, force added to the acceleration is positive, and force subtracted to the acceleration is negative, is it? I have talked about this. And which force you will take in account? Only the gravity force, tension force you are not going to take in account when are you writing the expression of acceleration directly. Only you will not take the tensions forces in your account, isn't it? So you are looking this M2G is going to added to in that acceleration. This force M2G is going to added in that acceleration. So this A should be equals to F net when are we writing. We will not take the tensile forces in our account. So M2G is going to added in that system. So that will be positive M2G. Here when will we talk, student? This Mg is not going to affect this acceleration. Mg is in that y direction, but acceleration is in x direction. And in x direction, T2 and T1 tensions are present. So since tensions forces will not take in account, so here we will get nothing. And of course, what will we get here? This M1G is acting downward and acceleration is in this direction. So this force is going to subtract the acceleration. It is going to stop the acceleration. It is making a kind of the obstacle to this acceleration. So force subtracted to the acceleration will be negative. So this will become what? Minus of M1G, isn't it? And there will be no effect of this capital Mg. Since it is in that y direction, no acceleration is present in y direction. Acceleration is in that a direction. And tension forces will not take in account. So only these external forces will act in this. This will be added to the acceleration. This will be subtracted to the acceleration. And mass total, when will you talk this, friends? So that will be equals to M1 plus M2 plus capital M is the total mass. So we have come to know that what is the acceleration, expression of acceleration directly, isn't it? Write it straight. So students, once we have come to know what is the expression of acceleration, and you are looking that in the system that same acceleration is present, so we can write the expression directly. Next, what will we do, students? Suppose we are saying that FBD of block of mass. Suppose first we are considering the M2 mass. So, student, for the M2 mass, you will look that force due to the gravity is going to act in downward side M2G, and tension is that T2 tension here, isn't? Of course, this T2 length of this T2 vector should be small since the block is accelerating in that downward side with A acceleration, isn't? So the free body diagram will be something like it. No contact is present, so no normal reaction is going to act. And suppose it is accelerating downwards, so suppose I am saying this one is our positive x-axis and this one is our positive y-axis in downward side. So after drawing the free body diagram and coming to know what are the forces acting on it, we will apply the Newton's second law on this. And since there is no force, no acceleration present in x direction, so we will not apply the Newton's second law in that x direction, we will apply in that y direction only, and that will tell us that vector sum of all the forces acting in that y direction for the block 2, that should be what? Mass m2 times acceleration in y direction for the block 2. So F external, which is acting in that y direction, is m2g and t2 only, and of course this m2g is positive and t2 is negative since you have selected the coordinates like that. So this will give us, student, this m2g minus of this t2, which should be equals to what? Mass m2, acceleration ay2 is a only, and that is on that positive side. So with this, or you can say, students, this our t2 should be, this T2 should be equals to what, students? This M2G, M2 times G minus of this M2 times A only, is it? And now what can you do, students? That in place of A we can write the expression of acceleration. So this T2 will become what, students? This M2 times G minus of this M2. At the place of A, what will you write, student? This M2G minus M1G divided by total mass, that is M1 plus M2 plus this capital M only. Isn't this, students? So this will be the expression. You can solve it more by considering this will be become that a kind of that fraction. One will be here, you can take the LCM and can solve it. Will multiply with this and minus this will multiply with this, and you can get the final expression of this T2. But I am not going to solve it. I have solved so much this kind of the expression. You can solve it analytically, otherwise you will get the numericals. The numbers will be present there and you can put the numbers and can find out. So of course this final expression will be something like it for the tension T2. And of course, student, if I am talking about the free body diagram of block of mass M1, this M1 and 2 I have talked. So force due to the gravity is in downward side, M1G. Tension is what? T1 tension is present here in upside. This length of this T1 vector will be more since it is accelerating in upward side. Elevator. I have talked about these things in elevator. So since it is accelerating upside, so suppose I am saying this one is our positive y-axis here, and this one is our positive x-axis. No forces, no acceleration is present in that x direction, so we will not write that and will not apply the Newton's second law there. Only that forces are present in that y direction. So here you will look, students, that we will apply the Newton's second law in that y direction. So vector sum of all the external forces acting in that y direction for the block 2 here, no, here for the block 1 is for the block 1, that should be mass m1 times acceleration in y direction for the block 1. F external for the block 1 which are acting here is m1g and t1, and upside you have assumed as your positive, so this will give us that t1 minus, this will become minus m1g, that should be m1 times acceleration is what, students? A. That will be positive, in whatever direction the acceleration is present, that you are seeing as your positive, so this is going to give us this result, isn't it? And from here, students, this T1 will become equals to M1G plus M1A. Isn't it, students? Now what can you do? That you, in place of A, you can write the expression of A. So T1 will become, T1 will become M1G plus this M1 times, at the place of A, what will you write this? M2G minus of this M1G divided by total mass, that is M1 plus M2 plus this capital M. Isn't? So this will be the kind of expression of this tension T1, and kind of the expression T2 tension will be in this way. You can solve it more by solving this fraction and can get the final expression. I am not going to solve that. You can solve, otherwise you will get the numericals, so it will become a kind of that easy task. I have given you the theories in that analytical way, how will you solve. And of course we have come to know T1 and T2 tension here. So of course for this block, for MPD of block of mass capital M, when will you write this, students? This N will become what? N should be equals to, normal should be equals to what? Capital Mg. No acceleration is present, so this will become, that reaction force will become equals to weight of that body, isn't? And of course, when you talk about the x direction, so that this side if you assume this side as your positive, so T2 minus of T1, that should be equals to what? Capital M times A, isn't? Capital M times A, and from there you can get whatever you want to know. I think everything has come to know. You will be known to the mass capital M, A acceleration also you have come to know, and T2 and T1 also you have come to know. So if you want to consider this, that is why I have told about this. You have got the expression of that acceleration, tension T2, tension T1 present in that distance. So this is the solved problem. Final answer we will get something like it. Enough for today's students. Thank you all of you.